Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of What CD is Rob listening to now. Before I continue on with this, let me say I am trying to get better at reading the notes that I write on the albums, because it seems obvious that I'm reading them. At least I think it's pretty obvious. But I just want everybody to know these are my notes. I wrote this, and this isn't from somebody else. I seem to get my thoughts out better if I just write the notes on them. So again, it is being read a lot, but they are my thoughts, I assure you. Anyway, we're going to continue on with our Iron Maiden marathon with an album called Peace of Mind. And another album and another lineup change. This time in the rhythm section, as Clive Burr would step down as the drummer due to personal and tour schedule problems. Clive was a fantastic drummer on the first three albums, so it was almost sad to see him go, until Nico McBrain steps in, and he is probably one of the greatest drummers of all time. I would definitely put him in the top 5. He's just a fantastic drummer and a great choice to fill in the drum throne and elevate the band to one of the greatest rhythm sections in the history of rock music. The album begins in fine fashion with one of the best tunes on the disc, a song called Where Eagles Fly, or Eagles Dare. Where Eagles Fly is a Sammy Hagar song. Yikes. This song is a hard rocker, and right out of the gate you can tell that the band were up to the challenge of outdoing their previous album, The Number of the Beast. The first tune with its soaring vocals, pounding bass, and drums, and the double guitar action is an absolute Iron Maiden classic. Revelations, up next, is a slower-paced hard rock tune with some beautifully melodic guitar parts. It's one of the 2 longest tracks on the album at just under 7 minutes, and another song that definitely shows what this band can do. The instrumental section, complete with shredding guitars and pounding drums, is one hell of a cool moment. The song has crunch melody and is one of the best on an album full of great tunes. Once again, we soar into the clouds with Flight of Icarus. This song is a headbanging metal tune with some amazing vocal harmonies and a rhythm section that shows all of the other bands out there just how it's done. Once again, we're treated to an absolutely blistering guitar solo. And while Adrian Smith and Dave Murray don't often get name checks as among the best guitarists out there, they definitely should be. Especially like one of the best guitar teams out there. They're just fantastic. The harmonizing they can do is just incredible. Die With Your Boots On follows, and while I love most of the track, I mean, what's not to love? It's a fantastic hard rocker with some of the best playing on the album, bass playing on the album. But the chorus, with its repetitive vocal part, just starts to grate on my nerves just a little bit. Other than that minor gripe, it's a fantastic song. The Trooper follows, and it's one that any hard rocker heavy metal fan should probably know. There are harmonizing guitars, killer bass lines, some amazing drum work by the new guy, and Bruce turns in one of the best vocal performances on the album. This one was released as a single and was a great choice for it. And while it's not my favorite tune on the album, it's definitely up there, especially with that guitar solo. Years later, this song was covered by another favorite band of mine, Coheed and Cambria. I thought they did a great job, but nothing can beat the original here. Still Life kicks off a bit silly with some backwards talking, which is basically just drummer Nico McBrain giving a big kind of fuck you to people accusing them of being devil-worshipping idiots. The song itself is another melodic hard rocker that goes through a couple of different mood changes and a guitar solo that could peel the paint off any wall. It makes this one another favorite for me. Quest for Fire is a fun story about early man looking for fire. That's something I don't mention enough in my Iron Maiden reviews, is their lyrics. They're not just, the typical rock of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I mean, these things tell a story. There's a message. Sometimes it's fantasy, sometimes it's history. I mean, just a great lyrical band. Always telling a good story or a bit of a history lesson. I think they sort of took a page from Rush in that notebook. Anyway, this melodic sort of hard rocker is a great example of storytelling. And like usual, we get another fantastic guitar solo and one hell of a great rhythm section performance. Sun and Steel is a fast-paced hard rocker, like much of the album, and like much of the album, has an amazing vocal melody, especially on the chorus, and that just sort of elevates this song for me. It's easy to see why Bruce is one of my favorite vocalists, and in that chugging guitar, a killer solo, add in that chugging guitar and a killer solo, and you have a recipe for one hell of a good tune, and I love the big finish here. Very cool stuff. And saving the best for last, To Tame a Land is my favorite song on the album. Kicking in with some guitar and a driving bass rhythm, this intro alone is worth the price of admission, and it's a pretty brief intro. But after about a minute, when the full band kick in, we're treated to the longest track on the album at just about 7.5 minutes. This song is a progressive metal feast with some of the best guitar playing and indeed the best riff on the album, in my opinion. With lyrics inspired by the classic Frank Herbert series Dune, great series, this song has everything a progger could want. Virtuosic musicians playing a well-crafted tune, especially the great Steve Harris, who plays the bass like a man possessed here. He's just fantastic on this song. And there's another dueling guitar solo. The singer is just delivering a great story with a powerful voice. This is definitely metal excess at its best. Later, Dream Theater would cover this tune as part of a bonus track on their campaign for the Black Clouds and Silver Linings album. And again, they did a great job, but nothing can beat just this original tune. It's just fantastic. One of the best Iron Maiden songs by far. And there you have it. What was this, 1983. Look at that cover. Eddie looks a bit crazy. I heard originally there was going to be, Eddie was going to be lobotomized on this album cover. That one might have been cool. You kind of see some of that on the disc. There's definitely some brain there. Maybe that's a piece of Eddie's mind. Anyway, very cool album cover. Very cool album. And next we continue with Power Slave. So until then, doodles.